Okay, let me thank you, all of you, for being here today. I'm gonna shortly introduce you Andrea Rosales. She recently joined our research group on mobile technologies. And just briefly, she received her PhD in information communication and audiovisual technologies at Pompeu Fabra University in last September. And her dissertation was about wearables and playful accessories. And previously to that, she received her master's degree in cognitive systems and interactive media, as well from the Pompeu Fabra. And she also holds a degree on social communication from Universidad del Valle in Colombia. I think that your presentation today is going to be really, really interesting for the whole audience, because as well it's going to be the first time for the whole team to hear you. So thank you very much for preparing this, and let's have a little bit of fun with your presentation. Thanks.
Thank you. So thanks for being here. It would be my pleasure to present myself, introduce myself with my previous work. I prepared a presentation with 4 topics. One would be the main topic. First, I will talk about a little bit about my PhD dissertation. Then, work we were doing in the GTI with Joseph Blatt with a project about word playing. And then this will be the main topic of the talk. And then some of the things I'm doing now in my new job here since October in the IN3. So starting with my presentation, my PhD dissertation, I did a dissertation about designing wearable and playful accessories to encourage free play among school-age children. This is related with the problem that, according to social studies, everyday life has reduced the children's possibilities for free playing. Amongst other reasons, this is due to the an excess of extracurricular activities, an excess of screen-based entertainment and structured entertainment. So previous work in human-computer interaction have addressed this issue, but by designing or augmenting the design of playgrounds and toys with sensing and reactive technologies to encourage free play. We address this issue also using wearable technologies, since with wearable technologies they can find opportunities, find new opportunities to play on the move when they are detached from the oversupply of screen-based entertainment and structured entertainment, for example, when they are in the way to the home in a train, or when they are outside, in moments outside home, for example, a family visit or something like that. So I try to augment everyday clothes or accessories with sensing and reactive technologies to encourage free play. I designed 3 prototypes of playful accessories, developed and tested with children, and in fact it encouraged free play. For example, it encouraged fantasy play or challenge play or motor play. And the results of some contributions of this dissertation include a set of design opportunities that can be taken into account in the design of future digitally augmented objects to encourage free play. So I didn't want to make this presentation, make the whole presentation about my PhD dissertation. So I'm talking about word playing and older people as game creators, a project I was working in the GTI with Joseph Blatt. And sorry. And one part of this project was researching about the role of older people creating games, creating casual games, their motivation, strategies, and benefits. And this is related with understanding how play experiences can increase the well-being of older people. In human-computer interaction, there is a topic about games and older people. Games should enable older people to enjoy their later life, by instance, for connecting them with their interest and motivation, and help them to achieve their goals or cultivating a more social lives. However, most of the related work about human-computer interaction and games and older people is related with improving their motor and cognitive skills, to help them to cope with age-related change, and to improve their communication with grandchildren or children. So our approach in the topic of games and older people is trying to capitalize on their strengths and their interests, not only in their limitations, and to study, to understand their strengths and interests. We conduct a 6-month user study of older people and play experiences. We were playing with older people digital analog games. People could be interested or not interested in ICTs. And we explore different play situations. And we explore it with 3 strategies. We conduct a gaming club with, during 6 months, with weekly meetings with 8 participants playing different games they propose or games we propose, digital or analog. We also conduct play activities with other groups of participants, groups that were meeting for example, a literacy class, for a literary gathering, for ICT classes. We try to introduce games in those groups. And finally, we co-created amongst other groups of people, of older people, games with them to understand what means a game for them. According to this user study, we found that there is a strong play reluctance. They associated, and this was a challenge to our project, because our project had funding to develop games for older people, and the first finding was that we found a strong play reluctance. It is associated with childish style is not the best way to approach them. If games are really childish, they are not interested about it. It is associated with a non-useful or unproductive activity, and they are not interested in non-useful activity. And it is associated with a waste of time, waste of money, or a compulsive behavior, that people who is playing would like to play all the time, and this is something negative. But we also found that is also a semantic problem, because the word play is, or the word games is seen as something negative. But if we talk with them about activities, which could be the same as a game, but we call it activities, they were more open to this kind of activities and not games. So it's like a cultural deappropriation of the games. So since in human-computer interaction there is a lot of efforts saying that games would be good for older people with falling problems, to improve the physical skills. Well, there is a problem, because maybe older people are not expecting to play, or most of them. So other findings about games, we found that the literature is saying that they are interested about casual games, digitalized versions of popular games, and games about simulation and management, some storytelling, and most of the literature that explore what active gamers, older people are playing, report that they are not interested in action games or games related with reflexes because they have a limitation with reflexes and they are not interested about it. But we agree with these categories. Playing with them, we discovered that they are interested in these playing categories, but we also observe that they do not play any casual game or any digitalized version of a popular game or any simulation games, but they play games related with their interest, their life experiences, their memories, and their history. For example, a man was reporting that his life dream was to be a pilot, and then now he's playing flight simulator games. Or a man who has in his pen drive a card game, but the card game that they used to play in their hometown, and is a really particular game that they only play this way in their hometown, and he really enjoyed playing this game, not any other game. Many other stories like this that show us that they are interested in this kind of games, but strongly related with their memories, their interests, their past. About play motivation, the literature is saying that they play for brain training, for the challenge of it, for relaxation, to kill time, for the fun of it. We found those things also. This is what they tell you. But we also found that they are interested to evoke the topics of their interest, their memories. They are interested to talk about and to involve it in their games. That they play for social influence or for social inclusion. For example, if they see their grandchildren are playing some games, they will try to play the same games as their grandchildren or their children. They recognize also that they improve their ICT skills by playing games, so they perceive this as a benefit. And they are also interested about learning about the topic of the game by playing the game. So those are other benefits. About the play style, this was really important to define what we were going to do. We understood that they are not interested in the goal, but in the journey. For example, we were doing an activity. No, I will show you. This is. I always show this. Here we were playing a game, and the game was, and we have timing in the game. They have to do it on time. And the question was, please take a photo of you with this, I don't know, how do you say this pañuelo aragonés. The activity was just, please take a photo with this pañuelo. And this is what happened.
Así sé que tengo cabeza yo para esto, ¿eh?
A ver, dime cómo se pone, pero no cómo se pone. No me lo quieres decir. Vale, ¿eh?
No sé.
No. Bueno, ponme una así y otra de la otra. Se pone en la cabeza, ¿eh? Pues así, igual que tú. Mira, hombre, que no, mira. Eso es. Pero la azul. A veces yo tendré que van a pasar la
¿Cachirulo de ¿Cachirulo? Sí, pero haber buscado alguna si hay alguna. Cachirulo de Aragón, claro. De Aragón no puede ser. Cachirulo puede ser.
quiere ser francesa? Quiere ser capitana de la no se dejes solos a la bandera, por eso ganamos, eso que manera, yo no dejo solo, no me dejo
So the game was with timing. They have to finish the game on time to win. And the game was about taking a picture with the cachirulo, but they are not interested only in the picture with the cachirulo, but they are also interested on how to wear the cachirulo and searching over the internet how to wear the cachirulo. And they end up singing a song, and they were enjoying the moment more than thinking about the goal of earning something or finish the game on time. So we think that they are more interested on the journey than on the goals. They are not succumbing to pressure. They are there to enjoy the life, not to be pressured. And also because of other things, we know that they don't want to be forced to do something. There is no pressure for them to do anything. And they do not play as a parallel activity as we can play while you spend the whole day in the computer, and maybe you can play a little bit here while you relax and then go back to your job. No, when they are playing, they are playing. They could be half hour, but they are focused on the play. And they play games at their own pace. There is no pressure. This is part of the style. So, according to these strengths and interests, we started to come up with a game concept, and as I said before, they were reluctant to play digital games, so we started to talk with them about activities, which have some game elements, but we talk about activities. And we focus more on activities, not trying to manage this semantic problem. They are interested in games related with their life experiences. So we decided they deserve personalized games and not mainstream games, or not only one game that we pretend to be interesting for everybody, but personalized games. They are interested about learning new things, and they are interested about the topic of the games, not only the game. So we focus on knowledge games, and games should be useful. So personalized games and knowledge game will contribute to this main topic of being useful. They are interested on evoke their memories. So we try to encourage sharing memories in all the levels and sharing knowledge through the games. But it is also associated with the complexity of trueness in the real life, in all the life. True is something complex. Yeah, and they play also for social influence. So we thought it would be so important to make a social game. They are interested about learning ICT, so we try to introduce some scaffolding in ICT, and there shouldn't be no pressure in the game. So we came up with the idea with create a game creation platform designed according to the interest of older people. Game creation platforms are really popular nowadays in the internet. Are at the same time a repository of games, a social network, and a tool to create games. Most popular game creation platforms are addressed at children. And for example, Scratch has actually 7 million projects shared, so it's really popular amongst children. And the previous studies about those platforms have shown that that can contribute positively to the cognitive and emotional development. But of course, little is known about how this can contribute in the well-being of older people, or how such kind of platforms can contribute in the well-being of older people. And we aim to reduce this gap in our research. So we designed, developed, and tested the WorldPlay platform, and we define the features of the platform according to the strengths and interests of the older people we observed. So in the platform we talk about activities. So one activity can have few questions. It includes open and closed questions, and it allows any user to create a new activity with a linear process of a step-by-step process to create their games. So it is so simple to create it. As creator of a game, as contributor of a game, or as a player of a game, you can share your memories and your knowledge in the game. So we are encouraging older people to share their knowledge and their memories. And strongly related with the memories is the thing that through is really complex things, and when are you talking about your personal memories, you cannot say nobody what you are saying is true or not. So the answer provided by participants are not judged, are just compared with the answer provided by the author. And closed questions are still open, so you can still question things. This is open and closed questions platform, but different to education. You are not testing nobody with this. In education, you need to grade students, and in this context, you don't need to grade nobody. So answers are not judged. So at the end is like a trivia game, which is really popular in Spain, but with real people as authors. So it reduces like the authority of the question and of the answer. And answers are public, so you can see the answer of the author and other answers also. And to provide ICT scaffolding, we introduce off-the-shelf technologies such as Google Images, YouTube, Wikipedia, so they can integrate internet resources. And by integrated internet resources, they are practicing their ICT skills, and they are learning new things about ICT. And there is no compulsory task. You don't have to finish, you don't have to answer. You can do whatever you want. So those are some elements of the platform. It's a step-by-step process. You have these two buttons, continue and return, always in each screen. So you have to do something in each screen and then continue or return, and then it's a step-by-step process. And you have a multiple choice question, and open question, and a third map question. You have to ask the title of the question, the text of the question, and the answer of the question. And then you can add YouTube videos, Google Images, Wikipedia, other internet resources. But this is an option. You don't have to do it. So if you manage how to create the question, the basic question, then you can think about adding new resources. At the end, it's a trivia with real people as authors. So, and maybe this Graham Coleman is something you know, somebody you know, you know his history, you know maybe why he's asking this question. So it reduces the power of the knowledge. and answer provided by participants are not judged. Just compare with the author. Grain said that the answer is this, but others are saying other things. And you also can comment on the question, on the answer. If you don't agree, you also have a last opportunity to talk about it. And answers are public. And there is no compulsory task. You can skip everything. You can end the game in any moment, and then you have a score, and you can do whatever you want. So, with the development of this platform, we have a few research questions. Some questions are related with how older people play such kind of games and how people go about creating worth play games. We are still analyzing the results of the play experiences with older people playing this platform, but I'm going to present now the creating worth playing games. So, related with this topic, we were interested to know if people would be interested about creating games, if they would be interested, why they are interested about it, in what strategies they use to create the games, if they perceive benefits of creating games, and what type of games they create. So we were creating games with 6 communities of practice, 4 groups in Barcelona, 1 group in Madrid, and 1 group in Dundee, Scotland. And in different strategies, in some groups, we engage the leader of the group and try to suggest them to create a game for their group purposes, for use it in their everyday activities. And in other groups, we we asked the permission of the leader of the group to invite the participants to create their own games for their own purposes. More than 100 participants were involved in this activity. We conduct a quantitative analysis through pre- and post questionnaires, and we conduct also qualitative analysis through participant observation with thematic analysis, and 4 observers who were in the activities. So, regarding our questions about this topic, yes, people were interested about creating games. There was games created in the platform by our participants, but particularly the most interested were the social leaders, the leaders of the groups, who were really open-minded, were open to learn new things, to make their everyday things in a different way. Here is the professor of a literacy class, and preparing a game for his class. And other participants, the participants of the groups who were creating games, was saying that creating games was the most exciting part of the activity. They were playing games prepared by this professor, and then in another session they were creating their own games, and for them creating games was the most exciting part of the activity. It was also the most challenging part, because they have to be sure of what they were writing, and they have to be sure of the writing style, and this was a big challenge for them, but it made the things more exciting. So why they are interested about creating games? At the end, the Worth Blame platform was a tool for them to conduct their social work, which is their social interest. So volunteering for a community activity is popular amongst older people. There is so many older people being volunteers in communities of older people to help others do other things. And this is seen as a good practice of active aging. And this tool is helping them to achieve this goal of doing this community job. And concretely, very often these leaders of communities are people who before used to be managers or teachers, and they keep doing these activities. They keep being teachers or managers or contributing with their experiences to their community. So the manager of the literary gathering was saying that playing with the topic of the game with the wordplay platform, it was a different way to continue doing their literary gathering. So she appreciated because of that. So the benefits they perceive about creating games, they were able to share their knowledge and their memories. This is really important. It somehow fosters social interaction, because maybe you don't know that I am from Andalusia, and I know, and we are doing a game. Well, I didn't explain. Oh, okay. No, this is later. And we are doing a game about popular parties. And then we start, I share my popular party in a question, and then everybody knows that I'm from this place, that I'm interested in this kind of parties, and then we start to talk about. So it fosters social interaction, since they are, it's like a starting point. They got social recognition, and the social recognition comes from being able to create such an interesting thing in the internet. And then they felt proud of it, and they felt empowered to do other things. They somehow discovered that they can do interesting things in the internet, so they feel empowered to do other things. They were learning ICTs, and they were learning about the topic of the games. And it also sparked expression and creativity, since they have some knowledge inside, but they have to adjust it to this format of an activity. So they have to make use of all of their expression and creativity. So, however, creating games was not an easy task. It was a motivating challenge. And they could participate in the activity of creating games with 4 main roles. The leaders visualize the opportunity to create a game in their communities and using for some purpose. They involve other people in this game idea. And the co-author contributed to the game idea of a leader creating new games or socializing the idea of a game. Authors, there were also people who were creating games just for the fun of it, just because this is interesting. And they, even though they didn't imagine any scenario where this game would be played, or where to use it, they were just creating the game for the fun of it. And gamers were playing the game, but playing the game, they were contributed in the content of the game, and so the next player will find more contents in the game. So they were contributing in the game creation without knowing that they were contributing. So they create games, for example, about cultural practices. For example, a game about folk parties in Spain. They created games about citizenship, the history of your city, the history of your neighborhood, your national identity, which is related with your history, related with the local context. or topics they were experts about. They create a game about the Prado Museum. And even though they created games and topics, they are interested about learning, interested to learn. Even if they were not expert about, they were searching information, and they were somehow creating the games to see if somebody else knows something about it. So some conclusions of this project: we started with the idea of a game, of creating a game for older peoples, but participant motivated us to change our minds and move from a game idea to a platform to create personalized games. We also thought that games should be fun, but should be useful also for them, because it's not only about having fun what make interesting a game for them. And we will say that a workplace platform can be seen as a tool for older people to conduct their volunteering social work in an entertaining and in a digital way. And it empowers older people who are not interested in ICT to use them in a meaningful way. So we are contributing on digital inclusion. So this is the project we have been working on. And other projects I'm working now is that I discovered that there is senior techies. I'm working with a group of 20 older people who meet weekly to learn about their smartphone, learn collaboratively about their smartphone and how to improve their skills managing their smartphone. And they are really techies. They are really techies because they enjoy technology. They do it for the pleasure of knowing, of being a master about the technology. They do it also to be independent, to not depend on their children who have to teach them how to manage the smartphone. And well, I think there is a few interesting questions in this activity. How they use the smartphone, what for they use the smartphone, but also the group motivation, their motivations to be there, the dynamics and the benefits they can get from being in this group. And we're working in other projects that could be closely related with senior techies, which is we are tracking internet users with a sample of 325 participants in Spain, older than 16, using smartphones and PC, and we will see what pages they visit, the search topics, and we will also know which apps they use in their smartphones, and we will have all the demographic data. And this study will let us compare, for example, how older people behavior is different of other targets. We can quantify also what we are seeing in the group of senior techies, and we can understand their search style, we can analyze their search style or their interest use and the smartphone use. And about those two projects, I don't have results now, but I wanted to share some of the things we are working now in the IM3. So if you have questions now, if you are interested about to know something else about the projects.
Thanks, Andrea. Maybe a comment. I am Roxana Barrantes. I'm visiting here for just a short period of time. It's more a comment on this people who are elder now. They have grown they have grown up in a period of economic difficulties. And so for them, having fun just for the sake of it, maybe not a thing they value positively,
Yeah.
as you have found, but when people growing up, at least in Peru right now, grow older, they might find having fun as valuable as working. So it is not the technology or the game for the sake of it. It is explained by previous experiences, by the way people have grown up, etc. And so I think it's important to see the human-computer interaction and the use of technology and etc., but also how the consequences and the conclusions grow up from previous experiences and people histories or stories. I don't know which is the correct English word for that.
Thank you. It's really true. It's really true.
Okay, my question is also related to the distinction between fun and usefulness of the game. In the beginning, you said that, and also at the conclusions, that older people are interested to play something useful. But in the middle of your presentation, you said also that previous studies found that they want also to kill time.
Yeah.
So this is contradictory. I don't know what is. And you said also that you agree with that.
Yeah.
So eventually, do they want to kill time or do they want to play something useful?
I think there is so many older people and they should have different interests. There should be somebody interested about killing time, but also with something useful, something that they are receiving something after that. And maybe there is somebody that is not interested about killing time, just completely useful activity. So the older people target is a very diverse target. You cannot generalize about nothing. So maybe you can take into account all older people, the ones who would like to have fun and the ones who would like to make something useful.
Also, you have done a lot of studies, a lot of experiments with various groups. At the end, they develop games. The older people start developing games that were based on questions. So the game was, for example, the Prado Museum, and there were questions like what do you know about the painting, or where you can find this painting, or such kind of questions.
The platform is about open and closed questions.
Okay.
So games include open and closed questions.
Okay. So it was questions
like a trivia or a quiz.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Thanks.
I would like to jump into the perception about gaming as a useful or as useless thing, just because I think you both were just going into the point. Because when you talk to people in interviews we conducted in different places, for instance in Toronto in a retirement home, we found out that everyone who had a computer, the first thing they did was playing a little bit, just solitary or small games, just casual gaming. And it was not the most important thing in their lives, but it was there. So just spending some time there, just killing time, it's okay. But we must recognize that our societies have been playing for a long time. So, but then there is the image about excuse me, losing time. So yeah, I think that our older people here culturally belong to this kind of scarcity culture in which you don't play just for the joy of playing. You should just define activities in a useful way. And then we can define what is useful and what is not, which is another huge discussion here. So maybe this contradiction you are rising up, you're putting into the table, is just bringing us just an idea to approach to this phenomenon. Because one thing is what we say, and the other thing is what we do. And in general, when in our research is exploring the use of mobile phones, it's amazing how to look at discourses about the use of mobile phones and then how we do with mobile phones. So it's like, I don't lose my time with my mobile phone and you end up losing a lot of time with your mobile phone. Or in this case, for instance, in interviews with, this is not with kids, not with teenagers, no, but with older people, you can hear people telling you, I just want my mobile phone for calling, because this is a tool for calling. I don't make long conversations because this is a tool. So as a tool, it should be used in a very specific way, not wasting money. And then when you keep talking, you have a different discourse in the same conversation, the same day, within 1 hour time, saying you, okay, but yeah, you know, sometimes I spend like chatting conversations in the phone because it's important. Then it's important for something. And then, or then if they've got a smartphone, yeah, I don't like the smartphone, and this is pretty anecdotal, but I don't like the smartphone for anything else but calling. And then you start a discussion, but you've got data, you should have your email here, or even you should jump into WhatsApp. Oh, no, I'm not on that. But, you know, why don't you download me Candy Crush? Because I will play. And this is the same conversation, 5 minutes difference. So this kind of contradictions, I think that they are really great points of departing for a great or in-depth analysis of this situation. And in this case, I think it's really interesting you pointed to that. And maybe this could help somehow designers on playful activities for this group of age, how to approach, because maybe it's better to say activities. You end up by playing, joking, because they were singing, they were creating games. But yes, you need to say that this must be useful. If not, maybe people is not going to jump on it, which is cultural. I mean, younger generations, we mix this. So, yeah.
Yeah, you are right, because there is a contradiction between self-perceptions and actual behavior of users. We have done a lot of studies on technology acceptance of devices, systems, etc. But there is always the question, okay, the users say something about the perceptions of their behavior, but what actually they will do in reality. So we don't know exactly.
To tell you something about, we were having the activity.
This is a slightly different kind of question. Among the Worthplay project, you mentioned a list of different benefits. I mean, with positive outcomes for older people playing with these games. Among some of them were like major empowerment. They felt prouder. Oh, I can see it right now. I was just wondering if you happen to know if there is. Do you happen to know about maybe in the literature what do they say about health outcomes when older people interact with games, digital games? I mean, do they improve their health? Are they more or less prone to be sick, of different kinds of illness? I was just wondering if you happen to know that. Thanks.
Yes. In fact, most of the literature about ICT and games and elderly is related with improving health problems. For example, to improve frailing problems, to improve dementia, to improve many mental problems, to keep brain active. And they, in human-computer interaction, they try to develop games for these purposes. And they try to test these games with older people. In the rehabilitation of people also, there is a lot of games. I will say the most part of the games for elderly are for health problems. In this topic, I see the problem that if you approach older people saying, hey, I have a game for you for your dementia problem, for improve your dementia problem, maybe they will think deep in the end of themselves, oh, games are for children, not for me. And this would be a problem, but maybe they are not going to say that when you are testing the games, but yeah.
In the qualitative study, did they mention sometime anything related to their health status? Never?
In those, yes, they prove it, and they show that it is successful. Yes. All these user studies are really limited, because maybe they develop a game and they test it in the laboratories with 10 people, and people is interested in this, in testing this game, and you never know what would happen if this game is really successful, and if so many people is accessing this game, if they are really using this game. And many of the game's strategies in this context is for older people to keep their rehabilitation at home. And you never will know if they will be using this for so long at home. Those studies, you never see this kind of studies.
What your question suggests me, and the fact that the literature review just brought up mostly health games, is that it looks like that when we look at older people as a target, we look at them as frail individuals. So it's a kind of ageism in the way we look at this age cohort. So, and I think that the project you explained, it's just approaching the same kind of tools we can use with any person at any age to older people. And again, it's like that. So we already saw that older people are casual gamers of solitaries, card games, Candy Crush, whatever you can imagine. But they are not target. They are not a specific target there. And I think this is interesting because maybe this could help if any information you have about games and older people means that you are ill somehow, and this is what it comes on news, and look, this new project that is going to help people to rehab from whatever broken leg they have, or to fight against Alzheimer, etc. This is all the information we have about games, maybe, sometimes in news, about games and older people. So yeah, better I wouldn't play, you know, or I would think this is for kids or for people who are ill, and you don't feel like that. And I don't think that people in the pictures you showed us are feeling like that, because they look like young old people and they are pretty active. They are enrolled in activities outside home. So maybe everything is playing like a different role in creating this image. So yeah it's a small.
Yeah, there is a big difference. We are working with young older people, active and healthy and independent living young older people, which is a different target. It's not the most common target in human-computer interaction, but I think they also deserve special treatment. They also deserve some attention. Maybe they have different interests, they have special needs, and most part of your older life you expect to have it independent and healthy. So maybe we can do something for these people. But in fact, most of the research is focused on health problems and people who cannot live independent and these kind of things.
Maybe just one question is that in the human-computer interaction literature, recently this sort of approach is sort of more widespread. Sort of, for instance, there's a recent paper by people. The title is something that sort of does he take sugar? The current approach, and then it's sort of about a critique of these approaches towards older people. Okay, sort of, and then this is sort of somehow recently this is not only our approach, but sort of more people are thinking that this is highly misrepresenting in human-computer interaction. This type of approach is highly misrepresenting users, the older people.
Yeah. Some other questions? Oh, thank you for being here.